Okay, I just want to say this entire video is just like a whole video pure yapping, like for 20 minutes. So if you're not here for a long time, just skim through it, get a general gist of it, and you'll be fine. But if you have spare time, go ahead, watch the whole thing, man. But it's just pure yapping. I promise you, it's just pure yapping.
Hey, so I don't know what Slime said about me, but I'm a great guy. I can trust you. So moving on with the video. Hey, if you're watching this, I assume that you're a locked player who's confused about the competitive aspect of the game. No matter how new you are, or no matter how of a veteran you are in this game, you might still be confused about the competitive aspects of this game. So, here is a video to, kind of make you understand or explain to you about what is happening in Locked. Okay, let's get started. Alright, so when I first started Locked, I was pretty confused about how to get into the competitive scene. Although I had a friend who was a top player at the time, I still didn't understand most things, and only understood the game by playing like the game for weeks on end, Some players don't have early connections like I do, and will easily be confused by how things work in the competitive scene, as it is completely different to, just regular autos and just like casual playtime with your friends. Oh, and if you're wondering who I am, I'm Pure, a leaderboard player in Asia, playing the striker position. So, hopefully my words can be trusted, I think, yeah. But yeah, that's why I'm making this video, for players that are just starting or confused about the competitive scene. So, anyway, now I explained that autos is different compared to competitive locked, but how different is it really? Now, first, competitive locked is separated into 3 types of matches. We have first pickups, then scrims, and finally league matches. Now, pickups are a type of match that are hosted by like actual players and are open to basically everyone. In your respective region, there will always be a pickup channel where you can find a pickup host that announces pickups and just hosts pickups, So, yeah. Now, from there, you can react to the pickup, and once the required amount is reached, which this varies a lot, but the minimum requirement is probably 16, the pickup host will start a stage and you are required to join the stage. And yeah, do note that you have to follow the rules, so make sure to listen to the rules and listen to the instructions to not delay a pickup, because that has happened on a lot of counts, and yeah, we don't want that, Teams are decided through a turn-based individual player pick. So 2 captains will be chosen, and those 2 captains will take turns picking players from, the people that join until they reach 11 for both sides, unless there aren't 21 players. Yeah. Do note that if a captain picks first, means that the opposing team gets the starting ball, so they do their first kickoff. Yep. So, most pickups are first to 10 and have no weapon rules. I'll explain that in a bit. There should be a timestamp. But yeah. Once a pickup is finished, the pickup host will record, sometimes they do, anyway. But the pickup host should record the goals and assists of the match during the match and post the results in a separate channel. In some cases where the pickups are more like serious and more like competitive, and there are like refs and stuff, the pickup hosts will write down MVP, MVFs, MVMs, and MVDs. The meaning should be on the screen. And yeah. Now, pickups are slightly complicated, as it can become quite chaotic and unpredictable, because for a new player it will seem that way first, but yeah, once you're like a bit known, you'll understand. And yeah, but scrims, on the other hand, are actually quite simple. So a scrim is a match between 2 teams that can be both competitive and casual. But let's backtrack for a second, okay? Team? Like, what? How does one make a team? Well, a team can be created by mostly anyone. However, making an official team is a completely different story. So, official team being official in your respective hub. It doesn't need to be like a team isn't official everywhere. It's only in one hub. Anyway, the requirement for teams consists of first, having enough players for a full roster. This includes subs, obviously. Second, having a functioning team's Discord server, or whatever thing you use. I don't know why you wouldn't use Discord. And lastly, having an active team, because if you play one match and then suddenly you don't play any scrims, I doubt you'll be known as you'll be counted as an official team. But yeah. Okay, so A scrim happens when captains of two teams have a mutual agreement on a time and date to host a scrim. So basically, let's say I'm a captain of a team and I'll DM another captain, and we'll decide on first, do you want a scrim? They'll agree. If they agree, then me and that captain will decide on a time and date. It could be like 2 days, it could be 1 day, it could be day today, and a time. So yeah, and after that, it's awesome. And by the way, most captains will be listed on like the server you're in. Like there will be this player who's captain of this. It could be a vice captain also. Rosters, all of that will be there. So yeah. Now, moving on from scrims, league matches. I'm not gonna dive too deep into this because I feel like it's not as important. It's kind of straightforward, to be honest. League matches can vary depending on the type of league you're in, such as a draft league, randomized team league, or sign-up league, etc. and blah blah blah. Okay, explanation should be on the screen. Blah blah blah. Okay. Anyway, just think of league matches as a more official type of scrim. On God, for real. Why is this in the script? What the fuck? Okay. Anyway, now that you understand what type of matches exist, we can move on to how you can get into the comp scene and actually participate in these matches. When first starting out on the Roblox page of Locked, you should first join the official Locked server. I will put the link in the description, and from there you can find your respective region. Let's take Asia for example. Asia consists of two hub servers, being LAH, Locked Asia Hub, and AFA, Asia Football Association. In both hubs, you can find things such as official teams, leaderboard for players, and league management, scrim results, and pickups, I guess. Yeah. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, how does one make like connections? What I mean by connections is like, how do I make myself known? You know, how do I actually get into pickups? How do I like get picked? You know. So it's actually simpler than you think. First is through communication and interaction. By communicating and interacting with other players, you'll make your presence known. The hard part is actually performing consistently and proving your worth with your like plays and your skills. You know, being known as a great player is tough because you need to be consistent and you also need to shine on the field. Also, being a great manager can also give you recognition, like managing teams and stuff. You don't need to be a great player to be a great manager. Also, do note that managerial skills are actually really important. We do need more managers, especially in Asia. Anyway, one reminder is to always keep a positive attitude and be friendly towards others. Even if you're a skilled player, if you're like a shitty human being, then it basically cancels out. I won't name any in Asia, but we have a lot of those. Now, who to ask? Now listen, okay? I don't recommend DMing like leaderboard players or top players for advice, because from my personal experience, it got pretty annoying. Like a lot of people just DM me. It was annoying. I don't want to like babysit somebody, but if you do need help, like just, you know, simple advice, not a full-on tutoring session that goes on for like an hour, don't be afraid to ask. Okay, just don't spam ping someone and annoy them every day. If they don't respond, that's that. Don't just ignore them. Just like move on. Okay, but I can assure you that there are people out there who are willing to teach. You just have to find the right people, including me. You just have to not be annoying, you know, and you have to be willing to learn. All right, this part is like specifically for Asia players. So if you're a different region player, you can skip to this timestamp that I put on the screen. If you don't want to hear me yap, of course you can stay if you want, but you won't know. Anyway, as you know, there are many positions in football, and some players are better at certain things than others. Let's take what I do for example. I can air dribble pretty well, and I'm a poacher / goal scorer. That's why I'm a leaderboard striker. And then there's my teammate Slime on the other hand. He excels at making space and giving precise passes to both the wingers and strikers he plays with. Our number one midfielder for real. I can't believe I said that. Anyway, so for my new Asia players out there, I want you to find a position that you really want to main and play, because I didn't listen, I can midfield and defend pretty well now, but it wasn't always like this, okay? So I want you to stick to a certain position, because okay, expanding your horizons in other positions is good too. However, it's important that you can perform in your main position when the big matches or chances like show, you know? If there are any aspiring air dribblers who think they have potential, specifically Asia, you can DM me on Discord. My account will be on screen. Also, if you're Asia, I highly recommend you to focus on AFA, since LAH is kind of dead. You can personally DM me or Slime if you have any questions about AFA The staff is in AFA is also pretty friendly, so don't be afraid to ask at all. The AFA link is invite only, but it will be put in the description, so just make sure to join, okay? If you're a complete freshie, though, go to LAH and join a few trial servers. Still go to AFA though. Just saying. Alright, now we're about to dive deeper into some actual technical stuff, but before that, we need to learn the rules. So I've sent the docs containing the rules for AFA and LAH in the description, but just in case the rules are different in other regions, make sure to check your own region server rules. I'm pretty sure they're the same though. I'm pretty sure. Don't double check me on that. Alright, so first of all is player count. An official match must consist of 11 players. Now, do note that this is an official match. A match can be anything. 3v3, 6v6, 9v9. But an official match that is refed by refed and counted in recorded must consist of 11 players unless special circumstances. 11 players on each side playing whatever formation they want, of course. Next is the kickoff rule. The kickoff taker must pass the ball before dribbling. The opposition must also wait 3 seconds before attempting to steal the ball from the team that just took the kickoff. Now, kickoff rules are simple, but here's where it gets tricky. Weapon rules. I'm too lazy to say each and every weapon, and I'm just gonna list it down. So here's a screenshot of what's allowed on one team. Do note that if you're using copycat, you can't copy a weapon that's already being used and maxed out, such as having 3 chigaris or I don't know any other weapons. Anyway, to make it easier to remember, basically only one of each unique on a team. It's that simple. So 1 Godspeed, 1 Formless, 1 King, 1 Imp, yeah, all that stuff. Alright. Now before scrims, we don't actually traditionally check each player's weapons. And we don't actually list them down or anything, but if a team is found guilty of breaking the weapon rules, no matter which weapon it is, no matter how small it is, it could be 3 serfs, the other team will be given a penalty kick. So yeah, do remember that. Alright. After weapon rules, there's even more technical stuff. Bugs. Now, first, you aren't allowed to abuse iframes in any way. So if you find a bug that abuses iframes, don't use it. It's mostly not allowed. Tackle, jump, chest bump is one of these iframe abusers. You also aren't allowed to tackle, chest bump, or jump into a header/kick. These are ill and will result in a free kick from the spot that the illegal action was done. Some more bugs that aren't allowed. Well, I don't know a lot, but here's some that I remember. First is the Serpent GK shot. As a GK, you can pick up the ball and use Serpent. It goes really fast. It's a double shot. Don't do it. It's not allowed. 2 is the Chigiri speed abuse. And yeah, that's all that I know of. There should be more. One thing that is also highly bannable is macros. Macros in any form are bannable, and if you're caught using one, you'd probably get banned. Now, if you don't know what a macro is macros are macros. What the fuck, man? Now, if you don't know what a macro is, it's a way of inputting many inputs just from one singular input. So, let's say I press Alt and that does right click plus R in 1 second. That is a macro. Because if you don't know what right click and R does, it's an insta formless. So if I just press Alt and that does right click and R, that is a macro. So if there is anything that's similar, or just by pressing one input you get many inputs, that is a macro. Don't do that, you'll get banned if you get caught. That's all. Now, next thing is the rules for the GK. Now, surprisingly, there are actually many rules for GK. More than you would think. Goalkeepers, by the way. GK means goalkeepers, yeah. So, the first being that if the ball is out, resulting in a GK kick on your side, the GK is not allowed to pick it up and shoot. The GK must shoot using their legs, and yeah, they can also use a shooting weapon if they want to, but yeah. The instances where GKs can pick the ball up is if the ball was in possession of the opposing team before catching it. You can also steal from the enemy and still pick it up, using M2 and just stealing with your feet. You can still pick it up as long as the ball was in the enemy's possession. Picking up your teammate's ball, even accidentally, will result in a free kick for the other team. So GKs aren't allowed to dive M2, which I'm not sure what it really is, but I'm pretty sure it's a tech where you dive and M2 last second for a bigger hitbox. It's not allowed, so if you're a GK, just don't do it. Alright, now the last rule is probably one of the most important game rules. Offside. Now, offside is not as complicated as it seems. It was complicated to me at first, but it's not that complicated now that you think about it. First, basically, a player must be lined with an opposing player when invading the enemy's half. Offsides are disabled in your own half, but the second you cross the line where you cross the middle half is where offsides start. As long as there is a player lined up with you, it doesn't matter. Even if they're on the opposite wing, it's not offside. In official matches or matches that have referees will be the ones that are calling offsides. But sometimes as a player you can call offside. The referee will just confirm that it's offside whether or not. And also, make sure to listen to the referee. I know that there are a few Asia players watching this. Make sure to fucking listen to the referee. Also, make sure to read the documents that I put in the description, because there's something called box rules that I really don't want to get into. I'll just give a brief explanation about box rules real quick. So basically, you aren't allowed to have more than 2 players inside of a box for more than 7 seconds. So you can have as much players as you want inside the box, as long as it does not exceed over 7 seconds. So you can have 5 players in for 6 seconds, and you can have your entire team in box, as long as it's not for 7 seconds. But yeah, just do not have more than 2 players inside a box than 7 seconds. Yeah, longer than 7 seconds. That's all. Alright, so I kind of lost my breath, so this is where I'll let my friend Slime take over. He's one of the best midfielders in Asia, so you can trust his words. Alright.
Now, assuming you're watching this video with knowledge of football, you should know how the game actually works. On the field, there are many positions, obviously. There's stuff like striker, there's midfielder, there's defender, and there's obviously the goalkeeper, right? So the role of striker is to score goals and finish in the box most of the time. And then there's sub-positions like the striker, which are based off formations like the center forward and false 9 formations, which are other in-depth things that you don't need to know right now. Point is, there are a lot of positions, and I won't get into any specifics, but I'll give you a general idea, alright? Forwards are expected to win 1v1, so wingers and strikers, they're expected to win 1v1s and score goals, typical shit, right? Midfielders expected to bring the ball up, hold the ball, make plays. There's a lot of midfielders. Me being a midfielder, I'd know, right? There's a lot of type of midfielders, right? And, well, defenders, that's just the final wall of the team, and you're just supposed to clear the ball, give your team some space to breathe, that's all. And the goalkeeper, well, obviously, goalkeeping. So, that's pretty self-explanatory. The next thing is, obviously there's a lot of elements to other positions, like, let's take striker, for example, right? With striker, you need to learn where to position yourself off the ball movement during, a game, or just watch where you're standing for a pass and stuff like that. As a midfielder, you need to know where your teammates are, where to pass, and what sort of pass they need. And as a defender, you need to know the patterns of other people's playstyles. So let's say I was going against Wave, who's he's the number 1 winger right now, but he's pretty good, right? Wave prefers to use lift dribbles most of the time and short ranges. So as a defender, you wanna be able to, react quickly and predict where that goes. But as a midfielder, if he's in your team, you want to be able to predict, since he's 5'3", you're going to give him through passes so he can run for it. And if you're a striker, you have to come closer to him so he can cross to you. There's a lot of things that are involved, and there's a lot of team play, obviously, depending on what position you are. So if I were to take another example, Pure uses dribble-ins. So dribble-ins as in he dribbles into the fucking goal, right? To score a goal. So I usually give him spot-on passes so he can receive them in the air, and then and then he scores. He finishes as a striker. And another one, Ein, he's a winger in my team. He loves to play in the middle rather than on the line as a winger. So 1-2s are fairly easy with him. 1-2s as in just passing techniques and stuff. So there's things like that really matter in this game.
Alright, so hopefully Slime's explanation was clear. I finally have my breath back. Now, sorry for not completely focusing on how the game works, by the way. I assume that the people that were watching this already had a little bit of knowledge about the game already. Anyway, that's all for this video. I'll be uploading an in-depth video on how to play each position, accompanied by top players of that position. So yeah, striker video will probably be me, and I'll probably invite someone else. Stay tuned for that. Make sure to join AFA in the description of the video and to thoroughly check all the rules before playing, to not get screamed at. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments or even DM me personally as mentioned before. Here's my Discord once again. That's all from me. See you in the next video.